Favourite UK creators? Ones that you feel could work in the Let's Play network? That aren't?
The one guy like I respect immensely is Total Biscuit, but he's in the US now. Right? He's just a British native, I guess. No one comes to mind at the moment. Honestly, we don't care about race, creed, nationality, or whatever. Our selection process doesn't exist.
It's like, and we're not in charge of it. But regardless, if we were, it's like we watch a channel and we think it's funny. It's like, oh, cool. Yeah. So I don't even think to myself, are they from the UK or are they from Sweden or are they from Africa? You know, like
it's just whoever comes up.
An interesting example was there was a group similar but very different from Funhaus years ago. They no longer exist, or maybe they do. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I remember a guy I knew got hired, and you remember him saying like, "I'm like the Gavin of this group," and I was like, it's not like that. You can't just have your pieces and be like, we have a British. It's you pick the best person for the job, and like right now I think John Smith, who is an editor producer for us, has been going above and beyond, and he's been on camera more. And it's like it's honestly what the audience wants. You can't tell the audience who's good to be on camera. So that person happens to be from the UK. Awesome. It'd probably be really hard to get them to come over, but. As like Sugarpine's dealing with Kib right now, he's just from Canada, and they're having issues with that of having him work in the US. US is, I guess, kind of xenophobic.
That said, I think Sneaky Zebra's from the UK, right? Sneaky Zebras?
Yeah, I believe so.
He's one of those guys that I kind of like to actually talk to and find out his process. He's tweeting. I know. Well, he tweets us a lot. I know he watches Funhaus, but I'm curious to see because I like the stuff he does.
When you left Machinima, is there a plan in place for Funhaus?
Yeah, we've been meeting for months, and it was one of those things where like nothing was really set in stone until we left, but we had a plan. It wasn't like we were like, well, we're gonna quit and hopefully somebody would come to us. It was we had been talking for a long time with Rooster Teeth and Full Screen.
I would say Bruce and I are the kind of guys who always have a plan and a backup plan. The initial plan was actually to buy the Inside Gaming name from Machinima, but they weren't having it. So he said, okay, well, plan B. And plan B was find someone who could hire 7 dudes with no real questions. It was an odd moment. I forget who said it. James or someone was saying, like, what a weird moment that we all took a job without an interview. That never happens. You know, it's kind of cool that our work was online and like spoke for itself. So,
do you keep in contact with the guys at Machinima, like ETC?
Yo, of course.
Talk to them.
They were just on our podcast a few months ago.
I see Elliot on the weekend.
We just hung out with him.
Hung out with Ricky recently. Even Joel. I was up with him in the desert. Sounds weird, but it's a true story. No, we also keep in contact. Spool's the only one we still talk to, obviously. We just don't see him because he's up in Seattle and we're in LA, but whenever we're in the same town, we say hi.
Absolutely.
Yeah, best to keep friendly.
How important do you think the Let's Play network is to the overall growth of the creators within it?
I think it's really good for collaboration purposes. So the thing that we've noticed works the best with collaborations on YouTube is typically if 2 channels will play against each other or play with each other in any game really, and then post those videos on each other's YouTube channels and link to each other, right? So like we have a Funhaus perspective and they have an Achievement Hunter perspective. They link to each other, crossover, and that's the more people we put in Let's Play, the more collaborations we can do, and the more channels we can cross pollinate really from the audience that may not know. There are a lot of people that know Achievement Hunter that may not know Funhaus, right? And ideally you bring them over and you go, oh, I like Funhaus or whatever. So, the larger Let's Play becomes, the easier those collaborations become too.
Yeah, I would love for someone to come up. I mean, so like we have like Kraken who started recently, and he's already an established person. But I would love for someone who is a talent who is coming up on their own to actually rise. Like I think Alfredo is kind of a cool example that he joined Achievement Hunter. I don't know how important it is. I think that's up to the Let's Play network itself to figure out that. I hope it does become that though. We always use like SNL, Saturday Night Live as an example. It would be cool if that's the sort that the hope and dream is that guys like Gavin and Michael and Alfredo or us are going to go on to bigger things one day. That we're not going to be doing gameplays for the rest of our lives. But the idea is that Let's Play will always be a thing. Let's Play and Rooster Teeth will be a thing that helped nurture that rise, and so that that encourages the next generation to come in. I don't think you build a strong brand by keeping the same people there all the time.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get tired of us. and we we can always pop back in and say hi.
Yeah.
I think that's cool, but you want to see a new generation because who knows? Minecraft might be cool again soon. I don't know. Or what's the next Minecraft? Something like that. But you have this cool platform to showcase your personality and your talents.
I was reading an article yesterday about gaming journalists should inherently be good at gaming. What side of the fence do you come in on this?
For me, it's like in terms of games journalists, they probably play a lot of games. So if there's one time that they had trouble with the game or something, it happens. It happens occasionally, and sometimes people just can't put it together that day. I'm sure that happens to you when you go home and play a game. So it's like same deal. I think. It depends on their experience. It depends on how long they've been doing it. I don't think they need to be specifically good at games, but ideally it's their job.
Well, I think it's like any other... It's like someone's hobby, right? I don't have to like what you do, but I should at least have an understanding of why you enjoy what you do. So if you're a journalist and your job is to write about a thing, you should at least understand the thing. So if a game is hard, you should understand why it's hard. And if you can't beat it, okay, that sucks. I know the example you're using is like Cuphead. I played the same levels at journalists, and I was like, thank God no one watched me play this.
It's a hard game.
Yeah, and with the added pressure with the record button, if we ever live stream, I don't know if you guys have ever live streamed, but it's daunting to have even just a few dozen eyeballs looking at what you're doing, and now the pressure's on. You're like, oh God, I gotta do better. It's like, unless you have natural gaming talent, but the thing with like Cuphead was I did that level, the opening level, probably 13 times. It was like until I finally beat it. But then I went to like a boss fight, and I felt like, oh, the boss fights are easy compared to that the run and gun level. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, I do agree. I would hate for someone who has no understanding of gaming to criticize gaming.
You would never have somebody that has never seen a movie criticize a movie.
Yeah, like if you were to unfreeze a caveman today and go, please, Ray Gone with the Wind, and he's just banging two rocks and he doesn't like it. Like that just it's never made sense to me.
Do you have any advice for aspiring YouTube creators or journalists that want to get into the same industry?
Well, YouTubers, because YouTubers and journalists are two totally different career paths. YouTubers is be consistent, be passionate. So, like what you're doing, like the videos you're making, number one, and then number two, do them all the time. So if you're going to have a schedule, set a schedule and do it 3 times a week, right? And then from there, ramp up 5 times a week, 7 times a week, that sort of thing. Because as soon as you drop off, or you're like, I did one video every 2 weeks, or I did one video once a month, that's never going to work. It'll never ever get you an audience. So you just have to be consistent and passionate.
Yeah. I actually had a good talk with the guy Kraken I was talking about earlier, and he was saying how he went. It's hard for individual creators to take a vacation. If you guys are all doing individual work, you probably know what it's like. You almost never take a day off because it's a full-time job. But he was talking about how he runs his Twitch channel and does his Twitch streams. And he went out. He was like, I'm going to take a vacation, and all I'm going to do is run a live stream of my old VODs. And he said he didn't lose any Twitch subscribers, which was important because I feel like in this sort of game, you're trying to constantly stay at 0. Because once you hit a negative sum, it's downhill. There's a rolling effect, like Bruce was talking about. Once you're inconsistent rather, it's a snowball effect, and you lose everything. That's the hardest thing. And we're very fortunate because we work with 15, 16 people, something like that, and then we also have Rooster Teeth backing us up. So Bruce and I are able to come to the UK and do this, and everything, God willing, is okay.
Still goes,
back at home, and things are still working. The building's not on fire yet, but not everyone could do this sort of job that we do. It's very important to find people to collaborate with and work with. I would not survive in this industry if I was by myself. I need, every day, I would never tell him this, but I need Bruce. But I always, anytime anyone asks me for advice, I always say, get yourself a Bruce. It's like, get someone who is on top of their shit, who can manage people and understands the creative process and can work within the creative process and get shit done. Because, it's like, you always need a Bruce. I'm very flattered right now. That's very nice. You weren't supposed to be listening.
Journalism is, again, that's like get a degree and go through those channels. That's a little different.
Well, like when we were doing news, we never considered ourselves journalists, but we still would abide by journalism standards and practices, and a lot of that came from Lawrence and myself and Bruce, just always fighting for that. And we still played the YouTube game, which was sensationalizing titles and stuff. But when we did the actual content, it was very fact-based. We didn't want to be what do you call it? Like a tabloid news.
Fake news.
Fake news. Yeah.
So if you were to bring your whole operation to the UK, what do you think would change, if anything?
I don't know if much of anything would change. I mean, it'd probably be the very same setup. We'd be doing the same sort of gameplays. That's the thing that we always talk about. Is like you can kind of do the stuff that we do from anywhere.
Yeah.
Because we're all in an office, sat in front of a computer for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
So like we're not doing on location stuff very often. Like a lot of the times people will fly if they want us to do an event in San Francisco, or if they want us to do an event in New York, whatever. Like you're going to fly from anywhere to do that anyway. And those events come up maybe 4 or 5 times a year. So most of the time you're just playing a game, and you can play a game from anywhere. So I don't know how much would change. I don't think much would.
I don't think we'd be able to adopt the language.
Oh yeah, that'd be really tough.
We mispronounce so many words and butcher the English language. I don't think we could learn what you guys know.
Obviously, gaming is huge in your lives, but what else is there that drives you?
I think both of us say movies. We watch a ton of movies.
I think technology.
Yeah. That's a really good answer.
We're giant, not tech snobs, but I mean, we get off on like things like watching the Pixel reveal events and stuff like that. Most people are like iPhone crazy. I still watch iPhones, and I watch the Apple press conferences and stuff like that. I'm not gonna buy it. Waste the goddamn money.
All of us consistently work out. That's something that I think we all do, and it's sort of become like it's one of those things you realize you kind of have to do, but also it's a hobby, and we like to do it. And I think that's something that drives a lot of us in the office too.
Has that got quite competitive?
No,
not at all.
Not at all.
No, everybody works together.
There's no I can lift this much.
No, God, no. I firmly believe fitness should not be competitive. I think that's actually something that scares people from joining.
If they're not competitive people, they're not going to like it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the worst things you could do to anyone. This actually goes for most hobbies, honestly. Gaming, otherwise, I never want to be an inclusive thing. I think if someone's going to the gym and they are 300 pounds overweight, fucking encourage them as much as you can. Don't be the dude who's ripped by someone going, get out of here, lose. Like, why would you do that? Like, everyone started somewhere, and if you say you had the God-given gift of like a perfect body, you should be helping other people who want to aspire to be that, if they want to, or even just be fit, just be healthy in their lives, so that they don't have a heart attack at 23. And like same with gaming, same sort of thing. I never want anyone to. I don't want to ever act holier than thou. Like I'm better at games than you, so why do you come into my world? If someone has even just a minor interest, you should be accepting of those people.